Oh, it feels really nice and bright in here. It is awful weather outside, but indoors we are full of sunshine. And that's the weather report from me, Helen Tite, here in the Cornwall studios. Right, so we've been on a bit of a theme about mobilising, keeping moving, and we've, for the last couple of weeks, last month or so, it's been around pelvis and spine. We'll continue on that theme. We brought back the ball last week, and we are going to use that again today. I am going to look at hip mobility, and I am going to have a look at us reconnecting with the vertebra of the spine and see how we get on. Right, so as always, we think about our lineup. I'm using the ball for reference, so the ball is between my ankles. I'm thinking about the arches of my feet. Now, the ball is forcing me to open up through the arches of my feet. So I'm going to apply a little bit of pressure. So my toes are spread. My heel and the heels and the balls of the feet are equal. So once I feel I've got that balance in my feet, then I'll start to move up the body. So I feel like my feet are flat and grounded. The arches are lifted, and that lift is just creating that gentle squeeze. The knees are just gently off lock, just a little bit off lock, allowing us to grow tall through the pelvis, a little bit of a tuck under of the buttocks where we start to brace through the center. So I like to think we're pulling it in and under the ribs. From here, we lift up through the collarbone without popping the chest. So we lift up and draw those shoulders back and down, enabling our arms just to settle and work towards palms forward. So it's Vitruvian man is where we're at. Standards. Now, without a mirror, we tend to focus on what we can see in front of us. So we often neglect with the. We're going to put a little bit of attention. What I'd like us to do is just take out one arm. Let's do the right arm. Pop your left hand you there? Thumbs up if you can hear me. There you go. It was on mute. I don't know. Oh, lolling. Right. Okay, so we've lost time. That's okay. Right. Remember we did this last week. I want you to take the ball to the outside of the ankle. So this is about that oddly hip, knee, ankle mobility. Draw in a circle right the way around. Back to its start point. Now be conscious. Now this is something I really want you to think about. When you're here doing this movement, think about sinking into it. So use your feet, drop into that knee of the supporting leg and really use the knee and hip. So give me depth in the movement. Looking forward and feeling is important, but this is so good for ankle strength and that core balance. But we're working on you're throwing me. What's wrong now? What?
Can you just go back?
No. Because I'm trying to get the ball to go around the back of my ankle. Okay, and we switch sides. Same thing. Start with the ball on the outside of the ankle. This is where, and I talk about it quite a lot, that conscious understanding, or you're identifying that one side might be better at this than the other. Lots of explanations behind this. Right side of the brain, left side of the brain, or learned pattern, you've already had a go at this. All sorts of things. Give me depth in the movement. Don't be afraid to go deep on that movement. Try and feel it rather than see it. Okay. And then release. Good job. Okay, so what I'd like us to do here, so still thinking about the mobility first, stand wide, turn out, left toe, left foot. So you've got one foot pointing to me on the right, left foot towards the wall. How does that feel in your hips? So I see this when I go to other classes and there's women my age and above. I see that there's this tightness in the hip. So look down if you need to. Just give yourself a couple of wiggle jiggles as your hips get comfortable to this. Think about that front foot, the left foot pointing outward, and I want you to take your weight and energy into the baby toe. So it's just a simple, just roll out to the outside of the foot, got it? Okay, and then just bend the knee and come back and forth. So knee bends as we rock back and forth. As you do this, I want you to think about knee and toe on the left leg. I want you to think about baby toe, fourth toe, if that makes sense. Don't worry about what's going on the right, as we just go out and in. And the reason I'm doing this is because we need to address hip opening, but recognize we can get quite tight in the inner thigh. Okay, so from here, shift your weight onto that foot. So I might end up losing me off camera. So, and just see if you can just balance. Okay, so we've already done that ankle mobility. Now we're doing that hip opener, and now we're coming straight into, let's balance it. Now I want you to think about turning the pelvis towards the outside of the room, and then turn the pelvis back to me. And how does that feel? So we're going forward. Now everything feels nice and equal, and then back to me. Now, as soon as I rotate back to camera, I feel that tightening going on in my hip. Let's do that one more time. Foot down, okay, and then we're going to just see if we can go a little deeper. So, same side, we're still pushing through the baby toe on the left side. Lovely. And if you feel there's like a little niggle there, just think about smoothing out the movement and then release, relax. Okay, so I can feel in that small duration tension coming on into my hips. So I'm going to do the same on the right. Left foot points to camera. right toe points to wall. Just going to stay there for a minute and have a couple of little wiggle jiggles with my upper body. I can feel the tightness. Okay. Then I'm thinking right toe, baby toe. We're rolling our weight into the outside of the leg as we start to come forward and backwards. So again, this is about just releasing tension around the hip, feeling comfortable in these movements. If you've been sat for a period of time, you do get tight in the hips. And you might not be able to hear that, but that is my knee making all that noise. Thinking about the outside edge of my right leg, outside of my right foot, okay? And when you're ready, think about just bringing your weight up and onto that right leg. So pelvis points towards the floor, rotate pelvis towards the camera. Now, I've just put my toe on the floor. I suddenly felt unsafe doing that. So I'm just going to review that. I'm going to take the foot off the floor again and review. Like, oh, identifying again, one side wants to play, the other side's not really interested. And I also notice that my right foot wants to climb in a little bit. It doesn't want to be facing the wall. Okay, foot down. So again, left foot forward, forward and back. And your body's just going to fight you on this, all right? It's just normal. It's going, what are you doing? And you just calm down. Lovely jubbly. And release. Oh, so I don't know about you, but my hips are already aching. Isn't that strange? Okay, so last week we did some nice balance work, using the ball, standing on one leg. So we're going to progress that a little. We start by lovely little circles. You go in one direction only. You keep going, one direction only. Switch direction. Lovely. Now, keep going. What's going on? Are your shoulders lifting? Or are we keeping the neck long? Alternate. Keep the shoulders down, the neck long, the chin back. Bring your feet together. Bring your thighs together. Lovely. Be wary, not wary, just be conscious of what's going on in the back muscles and use them. They're there. They're big muscles. Use them in your back to draw your shoulder blades together to open up through the front of your chest. Well done. And release. Lovely. Okay, so let's think about rolling. So before we start to roll down fully, I just want us to explore the back again. In neutral, nice and tall, braced through your center. We are taking the ball at shoulder height, rounding out through the shoulders only. Nothing else moves. Draw the shoulder blades together. So we go forward and backwards, and forward and backwards. Blades rather than cupping the ball. So we've got a nice flat hand. And apply a little bit of pressure. So think about applying a little bit of pressure with your hands, your lovely straight hands as you go forward and backwards, because then you're starting to engage through the chest a little bit more. Beautiful, beautiful. Take your hands, drop them with the ball, chin to chest, and let's just roll down a little bit. Roll back up. Honestly, just take your time with this. The trick and the support here is by pulling your belly into your backbone, just to protect your back. So think about breath work if you like. It's all too much this morning. One thing, belly to backbone, belly to backbone, belly to backbone, right the way through it. Now, I'm going to challenge you on this. I want you to do at least 5, 6 of these. Think about coming up on the right side. Lowering down, think about Challenge yourself by pulling up through the left side. So you have to think about this, a little bit of brain gym going on. So it just forces you to go off center each time you roll. Are there any niggles going on here? Do you need to take your time and slow it down completely? Or maybe for breath cycles, stay at the bottom of the movement? Or maybe a breath cycle, stay at the top of the movement? Just play with it. Where are your feet? What are your knees doing? Lots of things to think about. Lovely. Lovely, jubbly. One more. Or did I make that one up? Lovely. Okay, team. We're going to make ourselves down onto the floor. Right. So we had a little practice of this last week. Firstly, I want us to be nice and upright, but on your knees. I don't know about you, but this just helps to stretch out my thighs for a minute. We're going to be pulse pressing through the ball, okay? So part one, so I just want you to do this. I want you to take the ball to your right side, press down and release. Press down. Part one, okay? As you press down, I want you to try and keep your weight on your left side. Oh, so me, I've cramp already. Right. So right and left, lower body still. All the effort is going on through my waistline muscles, those trunk muscles, as I'm pushing down, okay? So this is giving us some power into the wrist, but helping us to open up the palms at the same time. Let's switch sides. So I normally start just like to go with, I recognize that there's a lot going on. So I'm thinking, right, I need my weight equal and balanced on right and left side as I press down. So I'm using those core muscles to push down. And actually, I'm feeling that in my back. I notice there's some like a little bit of compression going on in my pelvis. So using my core muscles to push myself down and release. It's nice one, isn't it? Yeah, definitely a little bit of back issues going on that side. Or is it again? Last time. Come back to center and release. Good. Okay, so that will kind of make sense what happens next for us. So forget about the ball for a second, just come onto all fours and let's just cat-cow. Again, we need to think about how round we can make the spine, how bendy can we make the spine as we rise up, chin to chest. Lower down, drop the belly button, lift the chin high, look forward. Look downward, create that lovely C shape with the back. Push the ground away with your arms. Now, if we want to start playing with this movement, go into scared cat and do a couple of circles. Both directions. Lower the chest, chin up, same thing. Feel how your spine goes into lovely, wiggly, what do you, Pat used to call it? Sexy cat.
Sexy cat.
Okay, and then up again. So once you're up here, do two things for me. So belly pulled in nice and tight, pelvic floor contracted. Shift forward, but really push the ground away. Shift backwards, still pressing the ground away. Enjoy that stretch in the back. Okay. Sit back, take the ball forward. Modified child's pose. So we're going to put both hands on the ball, stretch the ball forward as far as you possibly can, and then start to drop your ears and your nose between your arms. Keep stretching that ball away as far as you can. And this again is just getting that lovely stretch out of the back. Lovely. Okay, well done, team. So from here, we're in a seated position. There's kind of almost levels to this. Firstly, take your hands behind you. Don't worry about the ball for a second. So your feet are planted nice and wide. I just want you to drop your knees one side to the other. Now we're going to be in this position and variations of this position for probably 5 minutes, okay? Okay. And the reason being, what I'm trying to do is target all the muscles around that entire hip area. So this might be your tolerance level. We're lubricating the hips and really getting into the joint capsule. So what should be now happening is your capacity to go a little deeper. So obviously, Chris, do what you know your levels. But I'm now looking to get the knee, the inside of each knee onto the floor, hands behind. Now, if you feel you're really competent with this and you're enjoying it and it feels comfortable and you could do more, another variation is to be more upright. So you're having to work those core muscles to still enable that internal external hip rotation. Then again, this is giving me jip on one side. I can feel it. One side feels really like great, other side's going, don't like that at all, House. Okay, so here's the change. Taking the hands, so just watch for a second, knee drop, rising up. So what I'm doing is taking my right hand to left foot, left hand to right foot, if that makes sense. So I'm just moving up and coming forward. And the reason being, I'm just trying to help us create some space. Here, your thigh, hip bones in your pelvis, and we're just trying to create space around the top of the around the bottom of the pelvis. So this is all about lubrication. The other thing that's happening here is we're just trying to release off a little bit of tension, because the pelvis is supposed to be quite semi-movable, so a little bit of movement but not massive when the spine comes into the pelvis. Part one, then we're trying to sort of release any tension in the muscles around the back. Feels weird, right? Okay, well done. Give yourself a moment. Okay, ball is here for decoration. Feet nice and wide. I'm going to give you options. So start with your hands behind you. What I'm looking for is the leg to come up and over the ball. Hands behind you, slightly easier. To up the game, bring your hands onto your thighs and try to be more upright. Now, interestingly enough, there will be a little bit of clunking, possibly, bit of popping. The body doesn't really like it. It's a really good move in sit. Lovely, lovely. How do we feel? Okay, feet wide. Use the ball, pop your hands onto the ball and just relax into this minute. So what I'd like you to do, it feels a bit odd, just like adjust your bum cheeks. Just want to like pull them up a little bit. And so I want you to feel your bones. Now here's another thing. Just turn your toes in to touch the floor if you can. Actually, I think this outfit coordinates with the carpet a bit better. I think I've been a bit clashy with the carpet of late, but I can see all the green on me. Right, are we relaxed? Okay, let's take this a little tad further. So incorporating stretches, right elbow towards the right knee, inside the right knee. Okay, so we get this stretch here into the waistline and around the back. Okay, the next thing I want you to do is apply pressure into right elbow into right knee, and then look to open the chest, look up. Okay, still here. Take your right arm all the way across and see where you go, see where you land. So it might be that there's a little lean. It might be you can go a little deeper. As you breathe into it, you might get a deeper reach. Think more around chest open rather than collapse into it. And again, we're just stretching off waistline muscles here. Come back to center. Well done. The same thing. Elbow into knee, apply a little bit of pressure there. So rather than closing down that space in front of you, we're just opening up. Push it in there, on towards the ceiling. Let it lean over a little and work with it. Breathe. See if we can go a little deeper. And you can hear it in my voice. I'm like, oh. Back to center and release. By now, your hip flexors here, top thigh will go, oh, really don't like it. One last thing. Nice and tall. Twist so your nose is in line with your right knee. And then start to lean forward. Now, all of that for me is about back tension. So try and relax off your right thigh. Breathe. Rise up. Twist again, nose to the center of the left kneecap. And just let those hands slide and walk out and glide forwards. Well done. And release. Excellent. So let's think about the opposite of all that. So from here, we're going to lie down, lift the hips, pop the ball under the tail, and straighten out your legs. So this is the opposite of what we've just done. This will just enable us to release off the hip flexors because they've been under tension. If you want to progress that, point to your toes and send your arms overhead. Give myself a bit of cramp there, my toes. Lovely, lovely. Okay, bring your hands to your sides. Slide your heels into your bottom. When you're ready, one leg, then the other comes up into tabletop, ensuring there's about 100 to 110 degrees angle from hip to thigh. So we're elevated, so we need to ensure the knees are pointing towards the ceiling, and indeed your shins, you can perch a cup of tea. We hold it there. We brace, we think about the pelvic floor, so everything is lifted and contracted in the center. Slowly drift one leg towards the skirting board in front of you. Hold, hold, hold. Bring it in. Switch it out. Whew, other side. Out there. Hold, hold, hold. Let's bring it in. Exhale. Pause. Bring it in. The slower we do this today, team, the more intense this is going to be, the more focused we're going to be. Think about the inner thigh. Think about the inside of the knee joint and the inside of the lower limb. Don't let the legs drop out. So really control that and pulling in through the inside seam of your leggings. And again, what you might be experiencing is tension in the hip flexors. So you've got to let that go a little. So really focus on what's going around the pelvic floor into the center of the body. And then we finish popping the feet on the floor, heels to bum, lift the hips nice and high, but not too high. But lift the hips, squeeze the bum. Squeeze. Now pulse. So you're going to kind of almost bounce off that purple ball if it hasn't already run away. Pulse, 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 pulse. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and then lower down. Oh, I like it. Take the ball away and lower down. Okay. So last week I did some very painful and excruciatingly uncomfortable, wonderful sideline exercises. Do you remember? Grab some water. And then I'll show you where we're going to go. Now, the ball. It fits above the waistline, below the ribs. And we lie on it. Do you remember that? Okay, this is the bit where the blood gets in my face. And then we see if we can lie down. So again, this is creating space out of the hip. Both knees are bent. Lovely. Top leg straightens right down your midline and feel the pelvis shape change. So I want the leg to go long and touch the floor in front of you, down the midline. Then your arm, top arm comes overhead. So there's a big old stretch going on there. Right. Hands, palms pressed together. Lift leg. So now as you lift it, your pelvis will align. Your hips will be on top of each other, nice and stacked and beautifully aligned. We're going to pulse. 10, 9, 8, 7. Okay. Then we just come forward with that top leg a little bit without disturbing any other aspect of the body. And we're going to keep pulsing. So it's just slightly forward. Good. As we're pulsing, we're coming back to the center of the midline. And again, the emphasis will change, right? And now we're going to go backwards. So keep pulsing, tiny presses. Don't disturb the pressure elsewhere in the body. Keep holding that. Beautiful. Keep backwards. So the leg is behind the midline. Lovely. Keep it there because we've done about 30 or 40, I think, there. Oh, and just keep it back there because it's really creating space in that midline. Well done. Oh, hold it there. So come back into the midline. We're not resting. We're not resting. We're not resting. We're not resting. Toe down, heel up. Tiny presses again. So some of you will be starting to squeak a little, maybe sobbing. I really don't mind. But if you're feeling it, you're telling a story to your body. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and rest. That's not so bad, right? Okay. Okay, so your top hand presses into the floor and you come up. For the sake of a 52-year-old instructor, forgetting what she's going to do, we're going straight into the other side. So, same thing. Create space with ball. Oh, I don't know about you, but I can feel that. Ooh. Right, so ball is tucked. I'm lying down. I'm wrapping my body. Now I have to be careful because I've put a cup of water on the floor. Okay, so I'm floating in the midline. Top arm is coming up and over, so I can feel balance, and my leg is now touching the floor. So I've created stretch and created space, so really sort of getting in at the waist here. Then we lift the leg so it's hovering, and hopefully the hips will feel nice and stacked. Okay. Now from there we pulse. Tiny mini presses. Lovely. Now we're going to keep pulsing and come forward to me just a little bit. But notice what's going on elsewhere in the body. So you're just coming forward a little bit, you're still pulsing,
Still feel strong everywhere. Belly drawn in. You still feel that you're wrapped around you. You've enveloped that ball. Okay, we come back to the midline, still pulsing, but try and keep that stillness. And now we go backwards, still pulsing, tiny breathing, pressing backwards, and it will always feel different there. Ooh, so we're beyond the midline. Lovely. Keep going. And yes, your body is going. Okay, come back to your center. We're still pulsing. Ooh, hold and float. Heel up, toe down. Keep pressing. Ow, ow. Oh, I'm really feeling that on my on the left side today. Good job, everyone. Lovely, lovely. And then release. So bring that knee across onto the floor, give yourself a bit of a rub, whatever it is. Okay, so we're pushing our body weight up. We're going to work on some extension. So before we lie down on our bellies, what I'd like us to do is take this cheeky little ball, pop the ball between into the back of your left knee, come into a box position. Okay, and we're coming up. So it's a nice movement. Yeah. Okay, now I'm guilty of this, so I'm going to really work through my focus here. I need my weight equal and balanced right and left hand. As I bring up the leg, I don't want it to cock outwards to the side. It is inner thigh focus, really trying to get that heel high up without disturbing the shape of my back. Okay, so you've got 4 more, and 3, and 2, and then release which side. Good job. So again, it's just really focusing on getting that extension working. Right, box position, flex the foot, that's the trick, and start to push up. Okay. Fairly swift move, keeping your weight equal, right and left hand. Quick check in there. Push, push. Push, push. Inner thigh focus. The inner seams of your leggings focus, so the leg's not shooting out to the corner. 4, and 3, and 2, and release. Good job. Okay, so we might as well, while we're here, just to stretch out before we lie on our bellies, curl toes, push back into down dog. Okay, part 1, tuck your tail under so you can feel that stretch in your back. Okay, now just see if you can take your hands a little further away. Similar. We are now thinking about lengthening the chest. Creating a really nice line from the back up to the tail. Knees down. Next. How do we feel? Yeah, good, good, good. Okay. So to lie on our bellies, I want us to pop the ball under your boots and lie flat. Feet together, knees together, and just rock side to side, just to release off the hip and pelvis for a moment. So it's a bit of fascia release here. I know it's not comfy. So listen, if you're not using the ball, you can still be on your elbows and exactly the same movement and just applying that lateral rock. It's not a lateral, it's a rotational rock. Right to left, right to left. Okay. if you fancy, just bring your chest down and your forehead down onto the floor in front of you. Do that just for a moment or two. And again, this is just about stretching in strange places in your body. And release. Okay, we're going to come off the ball. Okay. Still on our belly, so we kind of prep the hips. So do you remember when we popped the ball between the knee? Okay, so what I'm looking for here is just don't worry about the upper body. I'm just looking for a leg lift, right leg, and then left leg. Okay, so let's not worry about the upper body for now. So if you want to rest your forehead onto the back of your hands, fine. And it is quite a strong stretch and lift and engagement. So by pointing your toes, you might feel that's quite intense. Flexing your foot might change where the emphasis is. It's okay. You just need to work with what's comfortable and feeling it, feeling the movement, thinking a thigh. Because again, your feet want to go into a V shape. I don't want that. I need to keep your feet straight. Okay, we're going to do 4 on one side only. 4, 3, 2, switch sides. 4, 3, 2, switch sides. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, switch. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, straight leg, point toe. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 8. And then from there, we push back, child's pose. Hands down, push back, stretching out. Now we did this, we used to do this quite a lot actually. I want us to lie down, arms wide, slide your hands in, push up in any fashion. Come forward, arms wide, together, push back and repeat. So it's important you lie flat, send your arms out, bring your arms in, push up, and again. Lovely, lovely. Good job. Confidence building movements. Okay, now watch me. Sit back, put your bum on your heels. I want you to bring your leg forward and take it back, sit down. Now, I'm finding this one quite fascinating. Firstly, I have, because we teach it in falls prevention, I always go for drawing the leg into a circle, but I want you to see if you can just slide your foot forward. Does that make sense? So I want you to rise up and bring your foot through. Rise up. Rather than coming round in a circle. I don't want that today. It's a funny one, isn't it? Because you kind of go, I used to be able to do that. Come up, left leg forward. Okay, so with your left leg forward, I want you just to put your arms onto the front left knee, just for a moment. Got it? Okay, pop both hands on the inside of that left knee. Curl right foot, lift right knee. So you've got a nice little stretch there. Knee comes down. Okay, and then I want you to push backwards. So it's almost like we're straightening off that front knee. Now, if you want to put hands either side of that front leg, that's fine. I'm looking for a rounded back for now. Okay, now you're going to do a quarter turn to me. So your right knee will pivot to me. And this is pretty much where we started today, but now we're in a kneeling position. Left foot points out to the wall, right knee and right thigh forward. Okay, we're going to go out to the left and in. Lovely. Last time. Hold. Okay, now we're going to sit back onto our right heel and just stretch out our left leg for a second. Both hands in front. Okay, come up onto your knee and see if we can slide the left leg out a little further. Okay, reset, switch direction, right foot forward, lean in. Okay, and when you're ready, I want you to turn in that left thigh, forward and back just a little bit. So out to the outside and just a little bit. Here just goes super mega tight for me. Okay, well done, stay there forward. Okay, from here, straighten out that right leg. And then what we go, oh yeah, that's right. We're going to sit back on the left knee. You'll see that. Okay. Turn toe forward, pop hands down. If you want to make this a deeper stretch, lean forward and see if you can just slide that foot further away. Okie doke. Bring your knee in. Okay, so from here, oh, we missed one last thing. Okay, so on the right side, right foot forward, hands either side of the right foot, curl back toes and just come up here and just have a nice little stretch. Okay, from here, we're going to straighten off that right leg if you can. So you might need to step in with the left foot or drop your left heel in a little. Work to straighten off front right knee. Pop right hand, right knee. Turn hip and belly to me. Turn both toes to me, both toes, both feet, all toes. Hands to floor, left hand to center, right hand to sky. Hand comes down, we switch. Left hand to sky, right hand to center. Enjoy how that feels. Well done. Left toe turns out. Right heel comes in a little bit. And when you're ready, see if we can straighten off that left knee. Left hand to shin if you can. Open up the chest and pelvis. If you want to send your arms to the ceiling, you can. Right, we can just switch cameras a minute. From here, turn toes to me, rest hands just above your kneecaps. Round out through that back again so that it's like a modified cat stretch, chin to chest. Pull in your belly. Rise all the way up, pumping your heels as you rise. Okay. Feet in neutral, take a long breath in. Turn your palms to me, breath out. Send your hands down low. Breath in. Turn palms to me, breath out. Okay, so we're going to send both hands out to the right, both back into the left and circle, and then back to the right. Left hand open up and close, like that. So we roll forward, Second time, we circle. Both hands to the right, left hand open. Okay, so it's a wave to the left, to the right, to the left and circle. To the right, left hand open. I want you to really think about your breathing now. So float, back to the right, circle. Onto the top corner and centre. Last time, to the left, to the right, to the left and circle, back to the left, to the right, left hand float, and circle. Now, both hands to the left, to the right, and circle back into the right. To the left, right hand goes high. Bring it down. Both hands to the right, float. To the left. Right, and circle into the far right. Oh, right. Oh, I nearly got that wrong now. To the right side and the left. Right and circle. Left, right hand goes high. We've got one more round, okay? So both to the right, to the left, to the right circle, to the left, right hand open, and close. Okay, take your hands to your sides. Just stand there and breath for a moment. We're really going to ground. And I want you to take all your effort and energy into the soles of your feet and just imagine your feet are going deeper into the ground. There's a really grounding piece of work. And this is us just finding stability around the chaos. Breathing in with your hands. If you want to float your hands, feel free to do that too. With each active breath, I want you to think you're growing bigger and pushing roots deeper. The breath in is slightly shorter than the breath out. And as you breathe out, you really feel this solid, this really rooted sensation in your body. Inhaling. Exhaling. And no matter what is thrown at you, the wind around you, the chaos of the climate pushing around you, you are firm, you are a rock, you're solid. Taking some really lovely breaths in and breaths out, reinforcing the stability that you have and hold. You're at the heart of your world. Settle there as we stand in our strength for another 10 seconds or so. Use this time to draw all the goodness into your breath. Bend your arms up and out. Nice and wide. Into a high V. Bring your hands together. Bringing your hands into the center of your heart space. Bringing yourselves into the force. Yay! Da 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 da. We're all done and dusted. Da 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 da. Da 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 da.